We're just a regular family. We've lived here in our home for over 25 years. Like most families, we've had our ups and downs, but we've always remained friends. Life on the whole has been good. We've had lots of fun times. My partner's always been very fit and super active. So when he was suddenly struck down with motor neuron disease, an incurable terminal illness, naturally we were all absolutely devastated. It's taken a terrible toll on him and on all of us.
So the physical symptoms started off, Dad's reaction to things were very laboured. I remember I went for a bike ride with him, and this was actually before he was diagnosed. He actually fell off his bike.
We had no idea what was going on. He wanted to walk properly, but it just wasn't happening, like his foot would just drop.
My husband and I were really genuinely worried. We thought there's something not right here. And then one day I just said to him, Shane, I'm going to take you to the hospital, emergency.
So that was April of last year when, he got the devastating news.
He said, oh yeah, I've got M&D, nothing much to it, don't worry about it, I'll be fine sort of thing. And
just turned to me and said, oh, it's ALS. Didn't really sink in until we were in the car driving, got quite emotional and upset, and Dad just said, don't kill us both, try and stay on the road.
The leader, I think, was still not on board, maybe in denial about what was going on.
I was in complete denial. I was in denial for months, to be honest.
Instantly went on Google, typed in M&D, and obviously the outcome is never positive.
Sham Kundadas was absolutely devastated. Yeah. Because, it's terminal illness.
I think it ranges between 2 to 4 years or something is the time frame they're given.
Yeah, I just had to accept that. This is it. There's no cure. It's only going to get worse, and pretty much be a downhill spiral, which it has, proven to be. Yeah.
It's devastating. It's a really, really horrible disease.
We have been practicing mantra meditation for many years, and he has been in and out, so to speak. He hasn't really taken it that seriously. And then when he got his diagnosis, he realised, I've got to get my together. So he changed. It was a slow process in the beginning, but as the disease took hold, he became more and more focused, more and more determined to follow the teachings he had been hearing for many years. We all hear, you're born, you're going to die, you're going to leave your body at some point, but you don't actually take that seriously until something like this happens, and then it becomes like reality. It's like, oh my God, this is, for real. It's really happening. I'm going to leave my body soon. And he has made the comment that this is the perfect disease for me. It stopped me in my tracks. I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. I can't move my body. So all I can do is go inwards, do what I need to do to prepare myself spiritually, and try to focus on my relationship with my spiritual teacher and with God, Krishna. So that's what he's done.
You like his what? You like his shirt?
Oh, this one. Our best friend.
and their life will be less stressful. Are successful. You want me to tell them that? Yeah. Did everyone hear? Dad said his only wish is that everyone remember this experience at their time of death. And then their life will be successful. That's what Dad said.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you. Thank you. My dear Lord, I am your eternal servant. I surrender unto you and take complete shelter in you, Krishna. You are the heart of my heart, the life of my life. Please protect me. Isn't that beautiful?
Rolls straight away, you mean? I've never felt so helpless in my entire life. You have someone there that you love that's taking care of you for, you know, half of my life, really. And you're just watching them waste away, and they're getting frustrated, you're getting frustrated because they're getting frustrated because you can't help them. I could see it in Dad as well, like he was just so frustrated and just so over his condition because it was getting to the point where he couldn't communicate properly.
I've been working with him since the end of January, so roughly maybe only 4 months. When I first got here, it was a little bit easier to understand. Like you could see the gradual decline physically over time. Like it was still a little bit of a strain to try and understand what he was saying at the beginning. A, B, C. Definitely got harder to understand as we went.
I guess there's less that can go wrong because there's so much that's already deteriorated, but still, a couple of weeks ago, he could still communicate verbally, just where now he can't.
He told us, like, every time he talks, it practically takes, like, every muscle in his body to strain to just try and make some kind of sound. He said it's like being buried in sand. Like, just imagine that all the time. It is practically like he's paralyzed from the neck down. And he did mention that one day. He can still move his head ever so slightly. And he said, once that goes, I'm fucked. Then I have no control over any part of my body at all.
Haribo, Shane. Haribo. Namaste.
Shane saying Haribo.
That's the best thing to say. Haribo, Krishna. Yeah, I like your hat. That's the best hat, right? I'll just read a few verses and then we chat just a little bit. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You got a nice smile, mate, I have to say. I like it.
He loves you.
He loves you too, mate. Krishna loves you, Prabhupada loves you. Keep that smile on, mate. Love it.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna.
Haribol, Haribol.
6 months ago, Sharma Pundadas was wanting to stop eating, but he knew that he wasn't ready to leave his body at that time.
So up until a few months ago, he was still able to chew and swallow food without choking. But over time, those muscles start to deteriorate and he's no longer able to do that.
Every time he would eat something, he would choke, and it was really traumatizing, you know, not just for him, but for anyone around. You know, you have someone that you love that's just choking and gasping for breath, and there's just drool just pouring out of their mouths, and they're going red and blue, and it's like you're helpless. You can't do anything. You can't, you know, it's not like you can just do a Heimlich maneuver on him and he's all good. It's like that was what we were living with. And Dad finally made the decision to get a peg tube put into his stomach.
It gets inserted straight into your stomach. It's just literally a tube and you can feed that way. So all his water, medication, and when he was taking in food, it was a liquid form, was going through that tube.
A lot of worry and angst came into play. You know, he wasn't ready to leave.
So he needed time to prepare. He wanted to hear more chanting. He wanted to read more scriptures. He wanted to build more faith, because at that time that was a little lacking.
So yeah, Mum and Dad were separated for about around 5 years or so.
He wasn't sure if the path we'd been on was really what he wanted to do. So sometimes people need to go and, you know, do whatever it is they think they need to do. This will make me happy. I'm still not convinced that this won't make me happy. So he decided, okay, I'm going to go and try something different. So we were apart for a number of years. And then he came back, and then he got this diagnosis. And he basically asked me if I would consider taking care of him. I wasn't sure, actually, to be honest, because our lives had already separated. So it took me a minute, you know. I was like, oh, okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
This process that we follow is amazing. It's all about love. It's all about seeing other people not as their physical bodies and all the stuff that comes with it, all of the baggage that comes with it. Siddhaswarupananda teaches us that we're spirit souls. We're loved by God eternally. So I just thought, well, this is true. To actually go beyond the baggage and seeing and relating to somebody as who they are, the spirit soul, eternally precious, a treasure of God, and relate to one another on that basis. And I need to help him. Yeah, the closeness has been quite amazing.
From that point, when Dad needed help, Lolita was there. Lolita was there day and night and has been there ever since.
Yeah, mum knows she's not her body. She knows she's spirit soul, and dad's a spirit soul, I'm a spirit soul, and we're all connected. Doesn't need to be physical. It can be, you know, a caring, loving relationship without any physicality at all.
The family that have been to see Dad over the last 2 weeks, my auntie, my dad's sister, and my grandmother, my dad's mother, have been unbelievably strong through this.
It's really made it easier for them with a little bit of understanding of what Dad is trying to achieve and where he's going to go, that he's not his body. He's going back to this wonderful place with Krishna, to back home. For them, death was this dark, sad, depressing, scary thing. Whereas really, it's not.
If a person has some love for Krishna in their heart, Krishna is attracted and comes and takes them. This is a great lesson that should give us all great faith, and it should also give us pause for thought and the sense of realization that we must develop our affection for Krishna. Having read the book to him has given me much more of an insight. That book's incredible.
Right.
That's been really, really good. Yeah. I've just been reading to Shane, and I've just had this moment in there which was just incredible. So the part of the book I'm reading with him now, Mum, which would be really good if you could read too, is people's experiences towards the end of their life. And they explained that Krishna's actually already in that room. Krishna's there. And I just got this, oh my God, I don't know, it was a feeling. I just said, I had to stop reading, and I said to Shane, Krishna's already here. He's here with you now. I get what he's doing now. I didn't understand so well, but now quite often I'd read a paragraph and stop and just say, Shane, this is exactly where you're at now. This is what you're doing.
We know that he's getting comfort from us sitting there reading. It just makes him focus someplace else. And I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to read to him. It did enlighten me to Krishna. It really has helped to understand what he's experiencing now.
Oh, it's incredibly comforting for us. Like I'm here today, and I feel, I don't feel emotional like I have been. I feel comforted. I feel at peace. I feel happy for him. I do feel happy for him.
I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I just came in. We did our morning routine. I washed him up a little bit. And then we got to the part where we usually have breakfast. And as I was going to get it ready, he was just like, no food today. I was like, excuse me? Did I understand that correctly? Can you just sound that out for me one more time, Shane? I just want to be clear. No food today. He's like, no food today.
He has decided a couple of weeks ago that it was time. He was ready, spiritually ready.
It was quite an emotional day for him. He had some friends around, spoke to him and had a chat, and
He finally felt ready and made the decision to stop having food.
I totally understand where he's coming from, but saying that and doing that, you know, having the courage to carry through on that is something else.
You know what? It's the past 2 weeks, I haven't seen him as clear-headed and smiling as much or as happy as he has been in the past 6-8 months that I've been taking care of him. It's like completely changed his mindset and just where he's at. I mean, I knew Dad was going to die. He was going to leave his body. He was diagnosed with MND. But you don't realize, you don't fully understand until, you know, that moment comes. And even now, like, I mean, the first 2 days after Dad made his decision, I was a wreck. But after seeing Dad being so strong and just so focused on his goal, you can't be upset. You can't be sad.
Like, it was shocking because, you know, now we're really at the final innings.
Over the last couple of days, he has pretty much gone into the next stage, which is where he's starting to withdraw. He's going inwards and he's preparing to leave his body. Dear Shane, thank you so much for taking seriously our instructions to focus your mind and heart on Krishna and his holy names. You've made a good decision to give up your body in this way, rather than trying to hold on to it. A disciple is known by how seriously they take the spiritual master's instructions. So thank you very much for taking my instructions seriously. All the acharyas and Lord Chaitanya will certainly bless you for taking their instructions seriously. You have nothing to fear. Simply by pleasing one's spiritual master, the perfection of one's life is assured. In other words, when you leave this body, you will be going back to Krishna. Of this, you should have no doubt. So let your heart be completely at peace as you rest in Krishna's unconditional love for you. I love you very much, your ever well-wisher, Siddhaswarupananda. Shane's just joking. He says he's very lucky he came across me, bro. It's all about soul to soul, isn't it, Shane? Seeing the person in the body. You know, we all have bad habits, but just have to see beyond all of that, right? That's the example that our dear spiritual master sets.
Do you feel that your pain's controlled at the moment? Yes. That cough is a problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
That cough is a real problem. Your pain, you're quite happy with your pain relief at this point? Yes. So we just make sure that you feel safe and that your questions are being answered. Yeah. Is communication purely this now? Yeah. Okay. Just as well I know what to ask. The main thing is we want you to be as comfortable as you can be. I think for me, I can just hear that. I can hear. So easier. Yeah. And I know you like your peace and quiet. Me, Miss Chatty Pants. Is there anything that you want from me while I'm here today? No.
Doctors and nurses have been amazed at the way Dad has chosen to leave his body. You know, most people would want to be fully drugged up and not feel a thing. Death's scary, you know. Death's painful.
What Shane's going through, I would have only imagined myself now in the fetal position, being morphined to the max and totally unaware of what was going on around me.
That's not what Dad's doing. He's choosing to be as coherent and present in his transition as he possibly can be.
Even when the nurses said, oh no, I think you need to up. And he's like, no, I'm going to take minimal pain relief.
I think he's very brave. I think he's very, very brave. A very brave man, but his meditation's obviously helping a great deal.
So it's been not a battle, but it's a constant reminder to the medical professionals that are trying to make Dad as comfortable as possible. And they do. They've got his best interests, but they don't understand the why. They don't understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Are you feeling any benefit of the extra pain relief? No? Okay. At the moment, you're fine and acceptable because you don't want to be any drowsier. Is that correct? Yes. Okay.
It's like going to the dentist and not getting any anaesthetic. It's like, why would you do that? But there's a good reason for why Dad's doing what he's doing. There's no point explaining that necessarily to the medical professionals because it's not going to be, as far as they're concerned, a very practical approach. But it's the approach that he's taking, and they're not going to see the guidance and support that he's getting spiritually because it doesn't go through a tube.
Dad knows he's not his body. When he leaves his body will die. He's not attached to the body. He understands that. He's always been very adamant that he wants to be clear-headed when he leaves his body so that he can focus on Krishna, on where he wants to go. By drugging himself up, he can't focus on that. So that's been a big priority of ours, is that we make sure that, we're moving pictures of Krishna around so that he can see that as he's leaving his body. That's his pain medication, is focusing on Krishna and the chanting, and it's worked wonders for him.
He's hit a high bar.
There's nothing to be afraid of now with passing after seeing Dad do it.
That's it. But he did it. He graduated. Just respect the decision.
So much.
And he followed it through to the end.
Krishna just came and picked him up and took him home. Said, "See you later, guys, I'm out of here." Just takes a second to surrender, and he did it. Very impressive and inspiring. No angst, no anxiety. It was just incredibly peaceful and incredibly easy. Wow, there's such a difference between a body with a soul in it, spirit, soul, and one without.
Namaste, everybody. So I think everyone will have to agree that's an incredible movie. I mean, you don't see movies like that very often, especially from that angle. So this is reality. And as you may gather, I knew Shane very well, and I knew Lalita even more so. Not that I knew Lalita, I know Lalita. So it's so much to be said here, so much to learn from this, so many things to reflect on. And simply because, of the great guidance, instruction of, and example set by our spiritual master, Siddhasarupananda, this was possible. So as the title says, nothing to fear. It's clearly stated in the Vedas that death is the most fearful moment of life. But when you know the truth and you're connected with Krishna and your relationship with Krishna is as it should be, you know you're protected by Krishna. And then, if one was ever so lucky to have your spiritual master tell you, when you leave your body, you're going to go to Krishna, then there is nothing to fear. And the way he lit up at the end when he quit eating and he knew, okay, this is it, let's go. That was amazing. So yeah, this is why we chant. This is why we try to focus our life in preparing for this moment. So as the caretaker said, he graduated. Life is the university. And if we study and be good students under the guidance of our spiritual master in Krishna, we can graduate and go back home, back to Krishna. So yeah. Now I was asked by my good friend who made this film, Майк Хинчи, that he would like to know your feedback on that. He would like to know what you thought, how you saw it, how it affected you, etc. Your overall impression. So if you can leave your comments, that will be greatly appreciated, and I will pass these on. Okay, so now we're going to end the evening with what we should all do for the rest of our life, and that's chant the holy names. I mean, we could go on and on about the movie, but let's chant, because we're going to be in that movie.